electric or magnetic field as a function of angular space, that is theta or pi. Suppose this is the a polar plot of a radiation pattern here. So this beam is called as the major lobe. So the major lobe indicates the maximum radiation of your antenna, and these beams are called minor lobes. These beams are called minor lobes. Minor lobes are side lobe levels, and this beam is called as a back lobe. So from this plot we can find out the half power beam width and as well as the first null beam width. So if you draw a from maximum signal, that is maximum signal is 1, from here to 1 by root 2 of your E, it is called half power beam width. Suppose 1 by root 2 means 0.707. At this point, if you draw a line and see the angular difference between these 2 points, angular difference between these 2 points is called as your half power beam width. Suppose if you draw a line to at 0 nulls, so here in this null, the angular difference between these 2 points, that is called first null beam width. Always first null beam width is equals to 2 times of your half power beam width. So in the field pattern, we are drawing a line at 0.707 into your electrical total normalized electric field, then we are getting your half power beam width. So next radiation pattern is power pattern. So if you draw, power is equals to, we know that power is equals to E square. If you draw a plot between power versus theta, then it is called as a power pattern. Power versus theta is called power pattern. So here what we are doing is, so this is the power pattern of a antenna. So here we are drawing a line for the normalized power at 0.5. We are drawing a line at the point 0.5 and see this, the angular difference between these 2 points is called as a half power beam width. And next one is, that is the power pattern in dB. Suppose if you want to represent your power pattern in logarithmic scales, so we want to find out in dBs. So 10 log of your power is in dB. So this is the plot for your power pattern in dB, where we are drawing our half power beam width at 3 dB line. So the angular difference between this point and this point is called as your half power beam width. So this is the radiation pattern of a diagrams for the half wave dipole, and this is the radiation pattern of a length. If your length is equal to 3 lambda by 4, that is the radiation pattern in both front view as well as the side view. Next, so the radiation pattern lobes. So this is the polar plot diagram. So this red line indicates major lobe. So where the maximum radiation is there in this particular direction, and these are the lobes, this green lobe and this pink lobe and blue lobe. So these are actually called as minor lobes, and these 2 lobes, green lobes are called side lobe levels, green, pink, and these 2, all the lobes are called side lobe levels, and this is called as the back lobe level. So if you draw a line from the maximum radiation to the, that means half of the 1 by root 2 of your total signal, then it is called as a half power beam width. That is the angular difference between these 2 points is called as the half power beam width. So if you draw a line from the null of the your first side from major beam to this from the left side and right side, then it is called as a first null beam width. Always your half power beam width is first null half power beam width is equals to first null beam width by 2. So, this is beam width between first nulls is equals to 2.25 into half power beam width. And also for most of the satellite communication applications, the side lobe level must be much lesser than 25 dB or 20 dB. And your front to back ratio, suppose front to back ratio means if you draw the ratio of the major beam to the back lobe is called your front to back ratio, though that should be greater than 20 dB. So, this is a Cartesian diagram. Here this is the major beam and this is the first side lobe level and this is second side lobe level and this is the back lobes. These two are your back lobe levels. So, for uniform distribution, suppose if you are using A of x equals to, if for A of x equals to 1, then the first side lobe level of your pattern must be minus 13.46 dB. So, which is very high in terms of radiation. To reduce that one, we have to use different amplitude distributions like circular amplitude distribution or pedestal distributions. So, by using that we can reduce the side lobe levels. So, if you reduce the side lobe levels, the concentration of your main beam is in the desired direction and it will improve the radiation as well as your gain must be improved. So, this is what we discussed in the above diagram also. So, this is called null. This is called null. This one and this one is called null, that is first nulls. Here the maximum the radiation is 0. So, this is the major beam which is having maximum amplitude and these are the side lobe levels, they are having the amplitude which is lesser than this maximum one, and this is the point where for each and every point, these points they are called nulls. Here the maximum radiation is 0, they are 0, and this is first side lobe level and this is the back lobe. So, the ratio of the major beam to the your back lobe is called front to back ratio. And if you draw a line at 3 dB line, so see this is the 3 dB line. If you draw a 3 dB line, so the angular difference between these 2 points is called as a half power beam width. And if you draw a line between these 2 points, first nulls, this is called your first null beam width. So, these are all the beams, different beams, main lobe, side lobes, half power beam width, first null beam width and front to back, that means front to back ratio. And next one is the principal patterns. So, in your 3D structures, we can't see directly all the directional characteristics. So, that is why we have to see those characteristics in 2 planes. One is the principal plane, 2 principal patterns are E plane pattern and H plane pattern. In the E plane pattern, what we are doing is we are cutting our antenna and its maximum radiation, and also in the H plane pattern we are cutting the H fields and the aperture distribution, maximum aperture distribution. So, this is an horn antenna and this is the radiation pattern of that antenna. Here there are 2 planes, one is the H plane and the E plane and the H plane. So, here we are cutting the one plane with E fields and the maximum amplitude distribution, and here we are what we are doing is we are cutting the H field and the distribution. We are taking 2 planes, one is X plane, XYZ plane. Suppose if you are having the radiation pattern like this, suppose we are taking the electrical field lines at this direction, E field lines at this direction. So, this will be your radiation in this XY plane. Suppose we are taking XZ plane, that is electrical field here and magnetic field in the direction, then it is called as the H field direction. So for a linear polarized antenna, the performance is often described in terms of two planes. One is the E plane and the H plane. In the E plane, the plane containing the electric field vector and the direction of maximum radiation, and the H plane, which is consists of the plane containing the magnetic field and the direction of maximum radiation. The next important topic is how your antenna, that is field regions. So in these field regions there are so how your antenna will radiate for different distances from your antenna. So if your radiation is at your forever point is very closer, what will happen? If you are very far away from your antenna, what will happen? So there are totally three regions are there from your antenna. Suppose here we are taking one dipole antenna with the d is equals to lambda by 2. Here there are totally three regions. One is the this is reactive region which is close to your antenna. So it is 0.62 into root over L cube by lambda or d cube by lambda. So that is the distance between your antenna to the first zone, that is reactive near field region. So from this region to next region is Fresnel region. So the distance between this one is 2L square by lambda, and third one is the far field region or Fraunhofer zone. So which is the distance between your antenna to this region is 2d square by lambda, where d is the largest dimension which we are using. So here you are seeing, so this is my antenna and these are the three regions. So in these three regions you can see in the field distribution in three regions. So this region is very close to your antenna, and your radiation pattern is not in a good shape. Why? Because this region is very close to or close coupling with your antenna, and next region is radiating field near field region. So here also the magnetic field and electric field are not orthogonal to each other, and also they are not formed the total field pattern. But in this region, far field region, so the distance between your antenna and this field is 2d square by lambda. So here your total radiation field occurs and it is not depending on the length of the antenna. So this is how we are spelling how the radiation will occur. So see this is a non-radiative reactor or reactive region. Here the couplings, your antenna is coupling between your field to the antenna, that's why these are couplings are there. So once the radiative, the Fresnel region is there, so there are the coupling between your antenna and your zone is somewhat less. So in the far field region, that is totally vanished and you are getting the pure your transmitted signal. So reactive regions, here in this region, so both E and H fields are not out of phase to each other, and the distance between your antenna to this region is always 0.62 into root over d cube by lambda, and radiating near field region, here also E and H fields are not radiating in the region, and also the distance between your antenna to this region is varies between 0.62 into root over d cube by lambda to 2d square by lambda. So in these both regions we can say that it is a Fresnel zone. If you are taking very small antenna, then d is much less than lambda. So then the distance between your antenna to that Fresnel zone is 3 lambda to the 2 pi. So the total maximum direction distance is 3 lambda to 2d square by lambda, which is the distance r, and it is from lambda by 2 pi to 0.62 into root over d cube by lambda. And third zone, here where we are getting our full far field radiation pattern, and it is independent of the distance, where d is greater than lambda, that is your antenna length is greater than lambda. So your distance between your antenna to that zone is greater than 2d square by lambda. So suppose if you are taking very small antenna, so then your region is greater than T lambda. So already we discussed this one, the beam widths. So whenever designing an antenna, beam widths are very important. Suppose for any designer, if you want to design one antenna with any number of elements, first he have to decide that what is the beam width of your antenna, how much beam width is required and how many elements are required. So what is the space between the elements and how much space is required for installation, all these should be keep in mind. So that's why beam width is very important. So here there are two types of beam widths are there, half power beam width and the Fresnel beam width. If you take the angular difference between two nulls, first two nulls is called Fresnel beam width. If you take the that means angular difference between the 2 points from your maximum to the 1/√2 is called half power beam width. So always your Fresnel beam width is equals to 2.25 times of your half power beam width. So here what we are saying this, how we are using different antennas from the transmitter side to the receiver side, and the major radiating patterns are, there are different types of antennas we are using, and what are the key parameters of your antennas. So here what type of antennas are we are using, and what is the radiation pattern of those antennas. Suppose we are using a transmitting antenna. From the transmitting antenna, radiating waves are passed to the free space. So our antenna can be acts as a transmitting antenna as well as the receiving antenna. It will receive the signals. So suppose we are giving a cable, we are giving a cable to your antenna, and it is radiating to the free space, and the free space, it will take all the electromagnetic waves will pass from that cable. So there are two different types of antennas we are using. One is the omnidirectional antenna and directional antenna. So this is the a directional antenna. We are taking an example of directional antenna. So this is our desired direction. So what is the directional antenna? So it will radiate in a particular direction. As soon as your gain is increasing, your beam is narrowing in a particular direction. So due to this narrowing, what will happen is your gain is increasing. Suppose if you are very narrow, for your signal strength is doubles for every time. Suppose if for a half wave dipole it is 0 dB. Now if your beam is narrowing and for the distance is increasing, it is increased to 3 dB to 6 dB. Suppose this is a curve, this is a plot for a 2D plot for a radiation pattern. So y axis is your directivity and x axis is your theta. So if you draw a curve between these two, so this is the maximum the radiation direction, and this is the nulls, these are the nulls. Suppose if you make your antenna, polar antenna in a horizontal direction, horizontal plane, so this shows the horizontal properties of that antenna. So if you are showing the same thing in a vertical also, it will shows the vertical plane. So you can use one antenna in the horizontal direction as well as you can use one antenna in your vertical direction. So the summary of this entire topic is, so what is radiation pattern? So if you want to see the antenna performance, compulsory you should know from the radiation pattern only. So radiation pattern is graphical representation of your antenna performance. So there are so many parameters which are associated with your radiation pattern. So one of the important parameters are beam widths. So there are two types of beam widths are there. One is half power beam width and the Fresnel beam width. Thank you.